From our studio in Georgetown, this is the TV Delmarva Channel 14 News at 4.
Hello and thank you for tuning in to TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Straight ahead, Sussex County Council hears public comment on a proposed ordinance to address affordable workforce housing in Sussex County. A traffic stop in Dover leads to drugs and an untraceable handgun arrest. The full details from Delaware State Police. And after 26 years of serving the community of Ellendale, a fire engine is headed to Kentucky to serve a much-needed community reeling from natural disaster. These stories and more are coming up, but weather first with meteorologist Hunter Alton.
Hello and good Tuesday afternoon, Delmarva. Well, we definitely have a lot better day today than what we saw yesterday with all the heavy rainfall, the scattered thunderstorms, even though we definitely did need the rain across the region. But can't complain about all the sunshine we've been seeing today. Taking a live look outside of TV Delmarva Studios here in Georgetown. We have a little bit of some cumulus clouds, but we have a bunch of those high thin cirrus clouds out there and plenty of sunshine, not to mention that are a little bit cooler temperatures and lower humidity as well. Currently 77 degrees here in Georgetown. Take a look at satellite and radar. You can see that cold front well off of the coast that went through yesterday is now out of the picture, and now we're just seeing a little bit of an increase in the cirrus clouds from the south and west that will continue to move through the areas tonight and continue even into tomorrow, where we are going to be warming things up even more with temperatures getting into the mid and upper 80s. Let's have a look at those conditions elsewhere on Delmarva this afternoon. We've definitely been seeing some fairly nice temperatures region-wide. Currently 81 in Salisbury and Pocomoke City, only 73 right now in Ocean City, all thanks to that onshore breeze. 77 right now in Easton, 76 in Centerville and Newark, 79 in Dover, and currently 77 degrees up north in Wilmington. We've been seeing a fairly dry air mass in place. Humidity values have been sticking in the 30s and even some lower 40%, which is translating to dew points right now very comfortable into the lower 50s, combined with some fairly light winds out there. Generally, our winds have been quite variable in nature from the southwest, northwest, and even towards the north and east, sustained between about 3 and 7 miles per hour. But we have been seeing some stronger wind gusts right along the immediate coast, like right now, gusting to 14 in Ocean City, 8 miles per hour in Pocomoke City, 9 for Salisbury and Georgetown, 13 miles per hour in Easton, and 11 for both Centerville and Dover. Now, we may have the chance of a little bit of some isolated patchy fog for tomorrow morning before things really start warming up for the rest of this week, getting back into the 90s, and we do have some thunderstorm chances for that holiday weekend. I have all the details regarding your pinpoint weather forecast here in just a little bit.
Sussex County Council heard testimony today on planned ordinance to address workforce housing affordability in the county and building affordable units. The ordinance comes on the heels of a governmental study showing that the county has become extremely unaffordable for the workforce of Sussex County. The ordinance would seek to incentivize developers and landlords to create affordable housing opportunities across the county. The ordinance would allow for someone working and living in Sussex County to rent a unit at a fixed rate as long as they meet a criteria and make low to medium income. Now, several members of the public spoke in support of the ordinance, including Lewis resident Jill Hicks, who spoke about her daughter's own experiences.
She said she would never do it again. Working in a summer vacation spot and dealing with tourists, not all, but some, who demanded their every vacation dream be met, no matter how unreasonable, was a harsh eye-opener. She stuck it out, but never worked here again. The point is, our workforce needs our help if we want them to stay and live productive and fulfilling lives. Otherwise, we should not be surprised when they don't return, turnover remains high, and much-needed year-round jobs are not filled.
Patty Drago, who was a write-in candidate for Sussex County's 3rd District, also voiced support for the ordinance, but spoke of concerns regarding public transportation.
It should be a fixed route with a set schedule. It's been mentioned that it should be a bus stop, not a bus route. The way the bus stops are organized today could end up being a half a mile to a mile for someone to walk to get to an actual stop. The walk to the bus stop must be a safe route. And I know there was a lot of talk during the P&Z and prior council discussions on this. The federal guidance is actually a quarter mile to a half a mile. Unless most people, unless they have no other options, I don't see many people willing to walk half a mile on a regular basis. So that's something to consider if there is any way possible to move that closer to the quarter mile mark, or, as I said previously, try to get some advance agreement as to when bus stops will be placed at actual communities, especially given the intent you have to be flexible on the parking arrangements and requirements in these communities.
Now, one of the concerns addressed was a lack of public hearing on development related to the ordinance. Some residents raised concerns of high-density buildings that may impact homes and natural resources around that development. Environmental concerns were also addressed, including coastal areas and low-lying areas susceptible to flooding. Well, a traffic stop leads to an untraceable firearm charge in Dover. Delaware State Police say a trooper stopped 36-year-old Michael Bauer of Dover just before 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. He was traveling allegedly at a high rate of speed on a motorcycle on northbound South DuPont Boulevard south of Carter Road. Bauer was detained after it was revealed he had a loaded, untraceable handgun on him. Police say he also had over 10 grams of marijuana, and a computer check revealed he was a convicted felon prohibited from possessing a firearm. He faces several charges, including possession of an untraceable firearm, other gun and drug-related charges. He was arraigned and lodged at SCI on $40,000 secure bond. Well, the Delaware Division of Social Services issued emergency benefits for June to eligible households as part of the state's ongoing response to the COVID-19 public health emergency. Benefits will be issued as part of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, and two cash assistance programs. The SNAP Emergency Food Benefit will be available to recipients' EBT cards on Thursday, June 30th. Eligible cash recipients will receive an emergency cash benefit check on or after Thursday, June 30th. To screen for and apply for benefits, go to DHSS's online application portal, Delaware Assist, or call 866-843-7212. Well, the Ellendale Fire Company announced today it had donated one of its engines to a station in need. The 1996 Monarch is headed to Blackberry Volunteer Fire Department in Ransom, Kentucky, where the station was completely destroyed by flooding in August of 2021. The engine served the Ellendale Company for 26 years. Ellendale Fire says the Kentucky company has been working to rebuild the station. The Ellendale Fire Company says the Kentucky company has been working to rebuild the station, but hampered by funding. They only received, check this out, $11,000 in Kentucky state assistance for the year. So in response, they decided to donate this engine. In a Facebook statement, Ellendale Fire says donating the engine to a company in need was the best path forward in showing the generosity of the community they serve and the brotherhood of the fire service as a whole. The company is now looking to replace the donated engine. Very cool story. Well, coming up, officials are seeking answers to an Amtrak derailment in Missouri and the latest on the migrants found dead inside a trailer. The latest in our national news segment when the news continues. A look at our national news segment from NewsNet. A passenger train traveling from Los Angeles to Chicago derailed in Missouri, leaving 3 people dead and at least 50 injured. An Amtrak spokeswoman says the Southwest chief was carrying 243 passengers and 12 crew members when it derailed near Mendon, Missouri, some 100 miles northwest of Kansas City. Company officials say 8 cars and 2 locomotives left the track after hitting a dump truck on the rail crossing. 3 people were killed in the crash, 2 passengers and an occupant in the truck. This is the second deadly Amtrak and vehicle collision in 2 days. Sunday in Brentwood, California, 3 people were killed when a train collided with their car at a crossing. And more than 40 people were found dead inside a semi-trailer in what is thought to be a botched migrant smuggling attempt. And this find may be one of the deadliest smuggling tragedies in recent decades. Around 100 people total were in the trailer located in San Antonio, Texas. 15 others were taken to the hospital. Big rigs emerged as a popular smuggling method in the early 1990s. Heat possess a serious danger, though, especially when temperatures can rise severely inside these vehicles, and temperatures were approaching over 100 degrees. Most recently, in 2017, 10 migrants died after being trapped inside a truck that was parked at a Walmart in San Antonio, and in 2003, 19 migrants were found in a sweltering truck southeast of San Antonio. A tragic situation there.
It's tragic. You know, there are that we know of 46 individuals who are no longer with us, who had families, who were likely trying to find a better life. And we have 16 folks who are fighting for their lives in their hospital. Our focus right now is to try to bring aid to them as best we can, but this is nothing short of a horrific human tragedy.
Well, it was a nice and pleasant day, but fog in the forecast for tonight. So let's get a preview of your pinpoint weather forecast with meteorologist Hunter Outen.
Warm and sunny conditions will continue for the rest of the afternoon and evening hours as we cool off quite a bit tonight. There could be some areas of patchy fog during the morning commute on Wednesday as we warm things up in the afternoon hours. A little heat wave is on the way for the rest of the week with multiple days in the 90s, and we could be looking at a wet holiday weekend ahead with a chance of some thunderstorms. Now don't go anywhere, because when we come back, I'll have a look at your complete pinpoint weather forecast for the rest of this week here on TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get right into that pinpoint forecast, we do have some tropics to talk about. The latest from the National Hurricane Center. If you didn't know, we have potential tropical cyclone number 2 out in the Atlantic, and this one's a little bit interesting, not because of the strength, it's more of the location of it. So here's the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Now keep in mind, this is the Dominican Republic, this is Puerto Rico, and this is the Lesser Antilles Islands. This area is way down south in the Atlantic Ocean, only about 9 degrees above the equator. And this is areas of South America, Venezuela, Colombia. This is way down here. Now the difference between a potential tropical cyclone and a tropical cyclone is this is producing winds of at least 40 miles per hour, but it does not have a confined area of low pressure. So the National Hurricane Center dubbed this as a PTC number 2 because they expect this to fully become a tropical storm here in the next couple of days or so. It's very unusual for this far south, and it's going to be affecting areas of Venezuela and Colombia. There's some tropical storm warnings out there, and it's going to continue to keep moving off towards the west and then eventually end up into the southern Caribbean islands, which the water out here is like bath water and is expecting to increase into a Category 1 hurricane before making landfall in Nicaragua. Not only that, with PTC2, this is a wider look of the satellite across the areas of the so-called main development region. We have PTC2 right here, but it has friends along with it. We have a tropical wave just behind it, another one behind that one, and this big wave that just came off of Africa. So we have a very active tropical wave pattern very early this time of year, just letting you know that this is what this hurricane season is going to be like. Very active over the next couple of months, and we're already starting things early here in the Atlantic Basin. Now we're going to take things back home closer to here for your pinpoint forecast, beginning with the overnight hours tonight. We got mostly clear skies. Maybe watch out for some areas of some patchy fog developing after midnight, and it's going to be a nice cool night in store as well. 58 to 64 degrees, and we've got some light winds and variable in nature as well for the overnight hours. Take a look at Futurecast. Rest of the overnight hours into the day on Wednesday. This is 8 o'clock this evening. We still got plenty of high thin cirrus clouds moving across areas of the mid-Atlantic states with temperatures a little bit on the milder side in the mid and upper 70s. Going into just after midnight, we're still going to be looking at plenty of high thin cirrus clouds out there, but temperatures are going to be dropping down into the low and mid 60s, and this is where we're going to start watching out for some areas of some patchy fog, especially in the inland locations, especially those open fields from the recent rainfall that we've seen just yesterday. Waking up and heading out the door tomorrow, we're going to be looking at temperatures nice and comfortable, upper 60s, lower 70s, but we're starting to see a decrease in those clouds from west to east. And then by the early afternoon hours, we're really going to start warming things up. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures warming up, mid and upper 80s for the most part. And then by the evening hours, now Futurecast keeps trying to develop some isolated showers, but I don't really buy that too much. As of right now, we'll see what happens tomorrow morning if we get a little bit of instability in place. But temperatures are going to be cooling off to about the low and mid 70s for the most part just before sundown. And then by the evening hours until 2 o'clock in the morning Thursday, temperatures are back down into the 60s with mostly clear skies. Take a look at the Wednesday forecast overall. We got partly sunny skies, definitely a warmer day ahead as well. 85 to 88 degrees with some light winds from the southwest at about 5 miles per hour. Take a look at the allergy index for your Wednesday. Going to be looking at some medium levels of pollen. Once again, 4.7 out of 12 on that scale. And still dealing with the two allergens that we have been for about the last 2 to 3 weeks from grass pollen and plantain. Now we're going to switch gears to take a look at the beach forecast for your Wednesday, beginning with the Atlantic. We got partly sunny skies, 77 degrees, winds from the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour, and some light swells of only about 2 feet. Take a look at the Delaware Bay, partly sunny skies, warmer at 78 degrees, winds from the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour, with seas of less than 1 foot expected. And then the Chesapeake Bay region, partly sunny skies, even warmer at 84 degrees, winds from the south at only about 5 miles per hour, and seas of less than 1 foot expected. Now, as we get into the overnight hours tomorrow night, we're going to be looking at some mostly clear skies, and it's going to be warmer as well. Temperatures up a few degrees to 64 to 67 degrees with a light south wind at about 5 miles per hour. Let's take a look at that extended outlook because we're going to be cranking up the heat for the rest of this week going into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're going to be having temperatures into the lower 90s and an increase of that humidity as well, with mostly sunny skies for Thursday and Friday. But towards the weekend, the holiday weekend as a matter of fact, we're going to be bringing up the humidity and the chances for some scattered afternoon thunderstorms for Saturday, Sunday, and unfortunately continuing into the 4th of July on Monday, as our temperatures are still holding steady in the upper 80s, and the warm conditions will continue into next week as well, with partly sunny skies by Tuesday.
Thank you, Hunter. Coming up, corporate America is responding to the recent Supreme Court reversal of Roe v. Wade. The full story when we come back. Stay tuned. With the Supreme Court's historic decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, many Americans are now wondering what's next. As Newsnet's Andy Hirschfeld reports, some companies are responding by offering help to employees affected by the ruling.
Some of America's biggest employers have decided to expand benefits to people who decide to seek an abortion. This comes amid last week's controversial Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. This comes as protesters took to the streets starting only hours after the High Court passed down the ruling. Tech giants including Apple, Meta, and Microsoft all announced it would reimburse travel costs for those needing to travel out of state to get care. Nearly half of the states across the country either outright ban abortions or greatly restrict access to care. Goldman Sachs, Nike, Comcast, JP Morgan, and Uber also announced similar policies. Other companies, including Dick's Sporting Goods and grocer Kroger, will offer up to $4,000 to individuals who need to cover travel expenses. Starbucks also offering the service through its healthcare plan. Although this amid the coffee giant's ongoing union fight, reportedly, Starbucks leadership has threatened to pull some trans-inclusive healthcare in the last few months. Not all businesses are taking this position, though. According to reporting from the AP, not all companies have weighed in. Those include Walmart and PepsiCo as of this past weekend. Generally, this is largely in line with how the business community has approached social issues in the past. Generally, this is largely in line with how the business community has approached social issues in the past. In New York, I'm Andy Hirschfeld reporting.
Weather Classroom is sponsored by No Nonsense Office Machines, committed to providing quality products and services with over 15 years of experience here in Sussex County. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today's weather lesson we will be talking about mesocyclones. Now, a mesocyclone is a vortex of air approximately about 2 to 10 miles wide in diameter within a convective storm. In a mesocyclone, air rises and rotates around a vertical axis, usually in the same direction as a low pressure system. They are most often associated with very strong localized low pressure regions within a severe thunderstorm. Such storms can produce very strong surface winds and even some very large hail. Mesocyclones often occur together within the updrafts in a supercell, and that's where tornadoes may form as well. Mesocyclones are believed to form when the strong changes of wind and or direction with height, which is also known as wind shear, sets parts to the lower atmosphere spinning in invisible tube-like rolls. Now, the convective updraft of a thunderstorm is then thought to draw up the spinning air, tilting the spinning rolls into the vertical. So you're going from a horizontal straight to vertical, and hence when you get the term rotating thunderstorms becomes. Mesocyclones are one of the main powerhouses to supercell thunderstorms, given the strength of the rotating column of air increases or decreases the strength of the overall thunderstorm.
All right, time for a final check of the forecast with Hunter. We are expecting fog to roll in tonight, but how do things look in the morning?
Now, we do have some fog in the forecast for tomorrow morning, but it shouldn't really be any issues. It's going to be rather isolated in nature, but the more concerning thing is going to be the heat that's going to be building in for the rest of this week. We got multiple days of 90s starting Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's considered to be a heat wave because it need at least be 3 days with temperatures in the 90s, and we start to introduce some scattered thunderstorm chances for this holiday weekend all the way into the 4th of July.
All right, thank you, Hunter, and thank you for tuning in to TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Hey, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, TV Delmarva, and our website, tvdelmarva.com, for real-time news and updates throughout the day. I'm Jonathan Mistrat reporting for TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Have yourself a great evening.